Hey guys, welcome back to the Rob Pop YouTube channel, your #1 pit stop for all things Eurovision. And today it's time to take a look at another national final, as this time we have a peek through the 6 entries competing for Ireland's attention. That's right, in this video I'll be reacting to Eurosong 2025, that is Ireland's Eurovision selection, where they will decide who will represent them in Basel in May. Now, if you view my channel, you will know that I don't have time to react to every single national final, so I tend to just pick a small selection. So usually Ireland would not be in the running, but I think it's fair to say for a lot of us that last year's Bambi Folk has really sort of invigorated that hope and interest that we all have in Ireland. And so I thought, I'm going to see what they have to offer in 2025 to see whether that good stuff is still going to keep coming from them. Honestly, where do we even begin to discuss Ireland in Eurovision? It really has been disaster after disaster after disaster until last year, when the incredible Bambi Folk took over, came to Malmö and absolutely turned everyone's expectations upside down with Doomsday Blue and one of the best staging we have ever seen at Eurovision. I went from saying that I didn't think the song would even qualify to honestly nearly breaking my phone in happiness at watching them qualify from the first semi-final. Yeah! Hopefully, somewhere in these 6 songs, there is another killer song that will at the very least take Ireland back to the final. You know I like to talk too much, so before I get into reacting, I'd just like to remind you to subscribe to this channel. I'd love to build a lovely little following in the lead up to Eurovision 2025. I've got so much more content coming all the way through till May. Give this video a like if you enjoy this video, and hit that notification bell if you want to know every time I upload a video. But we're starting with song number 1, as I say, alphabetical order. This is Adgy, and the song is Run Into the Night. Crossing my fingers for you, Ireland. Is this going to be the one? Okay, so all of these I assume are going to just be audios uploaded by the Late Late Show YouTube channel, so no visuals to bear in mind. I'm liking the instrument in the background. Is that a violin in the background? I'm not sure about that. I'm liking that touch to the instrumental. I'm not finding the song on top of it overly remarkable. I like this though. The whole thing's got a very laid back, relaxed vibe to it, but it's kind of summery in that sense. I think I'm finding that kind of violin or whatever it's in the background, that is the only element that I'm interested by. I'm kind of not on board with the rest of the song. It's a bit like one of those like really laid back dance songs that you would have on in like a coffee shop, just so that you're not getting distracted while you're trying to get on with work. I like this bit, but I think the whole song is a bit too bland for Eurovision. It's not bad though, like I would definitely like relax and listen to this, but do I want to relax at Eurovision? I feel like this is the sort of thing that you find in like copyright music channels or somewhere in like a coffee shop dance playlist. Like, it's nice and quite relaxing, and you know, if you did play it in your headphones while you went for a nice walk, you'd enjoy it. But we're talking Eurovision here, and I want to be excited, and that doesn't mean the songs have to be up tempo. Exciting can come in many different forms, and exciting somewhat came in the fact that there was an instrument played in the background. It definitely gave it like a Celtic feel, which, you know, ties in very nicely for Ireland. But if that were the case, maybe I would have liked to have heard some of the lyrics in Gaelic. Maybe I would like to have heard a bit more of those instrumental moments brought into the song, because they were the only bits that really intrigued me. So not a bad start, but I think you put that in the mix of 37 songs at Eurovision, and I don't think many people would have that as their favourite. Okay, we're moving on to song number 2 now, and we're moving on to Bobbi, Arlo, and the song is Powerplay. If it's going to hit in with power, is this going to give me everything I need for Ireland? Let's find out. Pulsating from second one. Love the image. The armour, the heavy makeup. It is. I want this chorus to drive me crazy when it arrives. Where are we going? Where are we going? This has potential, it definitely has staging potential. I think it could have gone slightly harder because the production from second one is so intense. I feel like it could have taken me on a bit more of a transformative journey when it hit into that chorus, but it was good. I like these bits, I like the spoken word energy. It feels intimate. Is this going to go anywhere different the second time round? I just want it to go a little bit harder, but I like the overall vibe and the energy. I can tell by looking at them, I can imagine they're going to bring this performance-wise, and that could just tie together some of the loose ends here, to be fair. Somewhere in the middle with that, but like swaying further towards positivity. I think there's definitely something to work with there. I wish that it did pack a bit more of a punch going into the I've got all the power, because I was immediately drawn in by second one, like the production from the very first second is like da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum. So when you start at like an 8 or a 9, naturally you want the song to elevate at the chorus to like a 10 or an 11, and I don't feel like it moved up enough so the payoff for the chorus didn't feel as good as you wanted it to. But the overall feel of the song felt very cool, it felt very sort of futuristic, it felt ambitious. I think it would be an interesting development to go to Bobbi from Bambi, but I do think some things need to be dialed up just a little bit in this song in order for everything to hit with an attack. I mean, you certainly couldn't say that if they do send this, that Ireland are playing it safe, and that's the corner I think we all want Ireland to turn, is them to continue to not play it safe. So perhaps this could be the one. Maybe this could be the one. Right, we're moving on to the third song now, halfway through, and this is Emmy, and the song is Laika Party. Strange title. Let's move on. Hit play. Loving this vocal. I love me like a cartoonish high-pitched vocal. Is she singing about Laika the dog? I think I like this. This is fun. I think this might be the most up my street. This feels like the kind of silliness that you'd find in one of the Scandinavian nations. The sort of thing that would come like 9th in their national final, so make of that what you will. Very bubblegum pop, very like Aqua Venga Boys coded. No bad thing to me. Because it is such a weird song though, I would almost not mind if like the production took some weirder choices. I'm very interested to see what they do with this. I think they go all in on the crazy with this. I was midway through talking and I was like, excuse me? That was stupid, that was dumb, that was the best entry yet for me. This is going to do nothing towards you taking me as a credible reactor, but you know what I've never claimed to be. I like me pop. I love me pop in all shapes and forms, and this absolutely tickles something inside of me that I enjoy a lot. As I said, very Aqua, very Venga Boys, very late 90s, early noughties, bubblegum. I was dancing the whole time. I did think it was a little bit silly, but I don't always think that's such a bad thing, guys. I think there's been a real turn in the last few years towards people saying that every entry that's a little bit silly, they're like, oh, we don't want Eurovision to go back to this. It's become too stupid, it's become too silly. And I'm like, come on, lighten up and have fun. Because this song was about, I'm not really sure what it was about, possibly actually Laika the dog. So it might be about joining a dog in the sky. Bizarre, but to me, that is no bad thing. And I spent the whole time having fun. And sometimes you've just got to react to how your body is moving and what it is telling you to just decide how you feel. So whether this is stupid or not, I enjoyed it, I was bopping, I found it a lot of fun, and I would love to see a kind of bubblegum pop 90s inspired entry at Eurovision. Do you think this has the potential to bomb at Eurovision? I'm not sure, like this could do very badly, but I think if they got all the staging together in enough of like a kitschy, quirky way, I think it could also be a real standout moment that people don't see coming. So it really could go one of two ways with this song. But what it will do is keep me smiling. So that's a win for Emmy, my favourite song yet. Right, next song we're moving on to is Niyl, and the song is Growth. We're going to be growing to an even better entry with this one. Song number 4, let's press play. Oh, he's putting my turtleneck to shame. Very like steady beginning. The last two songs are hitting from second one, so this song says, take your time. Not captured by this yet. It's unusual though. It feels like it's got a lot of like vocal layering on it, which is unusual. I don't know that I'm a fan of it, but I think it could do quite well, weirdly. I think they could create quite an epic world around this. It's only interesting, it's just not for me. I almost like how sparse it feels. There's something a bit like A1 Nation about it. I like the vibe of it more than I like the actual song, but it is a very unusually interesting song in the way that it's put together. What I can tell you is that I think this person is a talent, that's for sure. I think that is going to be a lot of people's favourites. It isn't necessarily mine, it isn't necessarily the sort of thing that I love personally, but I will say that I thought it did have an element of quality to it. It didn't sound like the sort of thing that I usually hear or expect to hear from Eurosong, which kind of feels like it's coming from an artist with no experience, and this is kind of like their first shot in the dark. This felt competitive, it felt fully realised, and very sort of well structured. I can certainly imagine an epic world in which this actually does quite well at Eurovision. And all of those things can be true, whilst me acknowledging that it's not the sort of thing I would listen to, and it's not the sort of thing I overwhelmingly enjoy, but there is a difference between something that I'm like, well, this isn't a great song, and something that I'm like, I can see this doing well, but it's not for me. And that's where this falls. So this is certainly nothing to be ashamed of. I am placing it third, but if this ended up going to Eurovision, I think Ireland could take some real stock in this, because I think this is definitely quality. I think this is the sort of song that if it made the final, the juries would really respect. So a balance of opinions there, but you can't really shake your head and say no to something that you're well aware is a good song. Do you know what I mean? Right, 2 more songs to go, and we are now moving on to the song Fire, which has been sent by Reylta. Now, anytime a song is called Fire in this competition, I do have to insert this clip.
Yeah, fire.
It is mandatory. I don't make the rules. Well, I do, but all the same, this is Reylta with Yeah, Fire. Beautiful voice. Very isolated vocals at the start there, which really, really stand out. Of all of the songs yet, this feels the most Irish, if that makes sense. Not sure about this as a hook, but I sense that it might progress further. Love this person's voice though. This is a lot of like minimalist drama. I just don't know if this chorus is strong enough again. I feel like the verses are really strong, the chorus isn't quite as strong. I don't like this chorus. Okay, there's definitely positives and negatives with this one. The positives, I think it's a very unique entry. It really does stand out. It's neither a ballad, an up-tempo. I don't really know where it falls, but it has its own unique vibe. I think Reylta sounds fantastic. I think the vocals sounded really strong. And I can imagine a staging being built around this that made this come to life a bit more. I just think that the chorus lacks oomph, and I don't think that hook of just fire, fire is quite strong enough. I think actually by the end I started to find it kind of grating, like the last 30 seconds of her just singing the same word over and over again, I started to find a bit annoying. So the verse is really good, the chorus not quite strong enough. I think they would have to create something really, really transformative with this to make this feel grand enough, because as it is, it just doesn't feel quite grand enough, and it has the potential to, but I personally don't quite think it's there. Right, we are moving on to the last song now, and in this house, you best believe we are moving on to a childhood icon of mine, and that is Samantha Mumba. Now, I have CDs back home from when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I've got to tell you, Always Come Back to Your Love. I think I saw her when I was younger. I used to love Samantha Mumba, and whenever I've seen her name as a possibility for Ireland, I've got really excited. This year is the year that she is going to be part of Ireland's national final selection, and we are ending with the Mumba. That is where we're ending. The song is called My Way. What does Samantha Mumba sound like in 2025? I have no idea, but I'm about to find out how she does it her way. Naturally, I want sassy upbeat pop, but I realise those songs that I loved were like, what, 20, 25 years ago? Some weird backing on this. There's a weird progression on this, like. I'm very confused by this. Like, things keep like repeating and like echoing in the background, and I'm like, this is messy. I'm so disappointed. This is really like weirdly structured and produced. It's like a ballad, a mid-tempo, an up-tempo, all in one. Weird. Well, that was weird. That was my least favourite song yet, and I'm probably being a bit harsh, but I came into this with real high hopes because I used to be such a Samantha Mumba fan. I don't really think I get this song. I don't really understand what's going on. Like, in some lines, it felt like she was cramming in too many words to fit into those lines. Sometimes it felt like she was having to shout over about 7 layers of production. There was like so much going on at the same time, but not in a way that really made sense, and not in a way that really enhanced the song. It didn't help the song become more interesting. It just felt like a bit of a noise. The song sounded like it was written initially as a ballad, but then they were like, oh, we probably need to make it a little bit more interesting for Eurovision. And then it's all, honestly, it was sometimes like 2 songs were playing at once. Very confusing listen. Not the one for Eurovision. I was hoping that Samantha Mumba could be the one for Eurovision. This is not the one for Eurovision. Let's just stop it there, because we've had some very good songs so far, and it seems odd that possibly the most established artist has the song that sounds the least accomplished, but that's just the way it is. And that brings us to the end. 6 songs here for Eurosong 2025. And honestly, Ireland have a very interesting national selection here. I would say there are 3 songs that they could really pick from that I think could do quite well. That would be Bobbi Arlo's Powerplay, Emmy's Laika Party, and Nyl's Growth. For me, my favourite was Emmy's Laika Party. That was definitely my favourite. Love that kind of 90s bubblegum. But I'm not sure whether that could potentially seem a bit too dated, whether it's the sort of thing that like the Norwegians and the Swedes would have thrown out in the semi-finals. My second favourite would be Bobbi Arlo's Powerplay, and then third favourite would be Nyl's Growth. I do think there's a potential that Bobbi and Niyl, as much as I prefer Emmy, I think maybe their productions and the way that they stage this could feel a bit more professional, so maybe that could be the way to go. But I think all 3 of them could make the final if they stage this well. And I mean, that is the thing really, isn't it? I mean, Doomsday Blue would not have come 6th if it wasn't for incredible staging, but staging can really transform things. And I can imagine a world in which Powerplay has some really creative staging. I can imagine a world in which Emmy's Laika party has some really fun, kooky staging that captures people's attention. And I can imagine a world where they do something with Niyle's growth that feels almost like too loony there, or just something that feels grandiose and epic. So there's potential in all three of those songs. My brain says the one to go for is possibly Powerplay. I think that Ireland definitely seem like they're playing this more ambitious, whereas before it all felt a little bit low budget and a bit like they weren't putting any effort into this, and it was just songs found on like the X Factor cutting room floor. But I feel like all of these songs, even, you know, songs like Run Into the Night, felt individual. It was a bit too sort of chilled for Eurovision, but I still felt like these songs really showed you some artistry, and I think that is a great thing for Ireland to do. Let these artists just be who they are and show off their artistry. Don't try and stifle them with what you think Eurovision is, because trust me, whatever you think Eurovision is, it isn't, because you probably didn't think that Doomsday Blue was what Eurovision is, and it got you to 6th place. But that's what I think. What do you think? Are you from Ireland, or are you been listening to this year's Eurosong? What are your favourites? Are you a Bobbi Arlo fan? Do you disagree with me on Samantha Mumba? Are you rooting for Emmy and her Laika party to the sky just like me? I'd love to know, and have some comments down below so that we can discuss who you want to see in Switzerland this May. Give this video a like if you enjoyed what you watched, and as ever, hit that notification bell if you want to know whenever I upload a new video. But all the best of luck to you. Mwah. Good luck to you in Ireland. Thank you very much for watching. But for now, good night.